I'm heading out to Gifford Wildlife Management Area. I've never been out here before. Looking at some trails, there's a couple streams. Looks like there might be 2 small lakes or ponds out there as well. But I think the maximum hiking distance is like 2 to 3 miles, and then you hit the Missouri River on 3 sides. It's kind of like a little crescent surrounded by the Missouri River. So I'm gonna head out there and see if I can find a spot to do a one-nighter. Kind of looking out on the weather. It's wet and muddy, but right now, well, my truck says it's 51 degrees. So that's pretty nice considering we're almost at the end of January. So I'll have some footage from this trip, testing out some of my gear that I've been doing in the backyard, but actually testing it out in the real situation, just like testing out my Whoopee Sling suspension that I've used in my backyard, my Enlightened equipment convert, just some other things. So we'll see how it goes. By the way, this backpack is not been on for very long, but man, it is, oh, lovely. It is comfortable. It's got a little bit of an air gap. I don't know if you can see that, just a little bit. Well, that's enough when that breeze comes that I can feel it in between my pack and my back. Almost getting cold because it's warm enough. I'm almost getting sweaty already. So here's my setup for this evening, without the insulation. I haven't got any of that out yet. I've got my jungle nest. It's got the integrated bug tarp, but I just flip that to the side and it works just fine with all my pea pod system and everything. Got my tree huggers up here, and I just hang my knife, my K-bar from there in the night, so I don't accidentally get in the hammock with it and poke a hole or anything. My tree huggers are connected to my whoopies. Got orange whoopies down here to the descender ring for the drip. My ridge line, which I set to 83% and never had to change it. It's perfect. Then whoopies on the other side, same thing. And there's my Z-Packs Arc Haul Zip. I was just suspend it from the tree for the night, just so I don't have to worry about sitting on the ground, especially right now. My ground is pretty muddy, so I just took a few little sticks to make a little stepping pad right there when I get in and out of my hammock. I don't know if you've ever heard of these. They're called pack tatch. You're supposed to use them on the outside of your pack. And what it does is it allows you to put a carabiner pretty much anywhere you want. So like, I can take my shirt, stick this little thing on the inside, slide the carabiner through it, out the other side, and there, no holes, doesn't slide around, and it just holds it right there wherever you put it. I'm going to attempt to use a couple of these, put them on my convert, and maybe toss it over my ridge line and see if it'll help snug it up. Then I won't have to use my Ember to hold everything snug. Oh, I can already feel the warmth in here. Before I was laying in it, I could feel the wind whipping through. Not anymore. My feet in there, where I like them. Right over there. Now really it's not too loose. But it's, I mean, not where I'd like it to be. I got all this extra. So now, take the thing, lift it up, find the other one. There. That was nice and tight. So now I don't have to use my Ember that I've been hooking on the ends just to pull everything tight. So now I can just bring this big bad boy. Awesome. So that Z-Pack Arc Haul Zip, I don't know what mileage I got today. It wasn't very much, but it was pretty rugged over lots of fallen trees and all kinds of stuff snagging your boots and tripping you, and just a lot of extra work, but that thing worked out fairly well. Kind of a nice day to try it. It wasn't hot, it wasn't too cold. I warmed up pretty good, but that little bit of a channel in the back, it does definitely help with the wind getting in there. Didn't have anything like sloshing around, moving around. I had my 2 little bottles of water, which if I'd have known I'd been this close to the river, wouldn't really even pack much water, because I can just throw something in there, bring it up and boil it. So I'll have to remember that next time. Yeah, I don't even know if I'm gonna throw up the tarp tonight, because right now I can feel the warmth coming off my convert underneath me already. That with my top quilt, I don't even know if I'll throw up my tarp. I don't think it's supposed to be very windy, but we'll see what happens. So the trouble I've had with using the convert as like an underquilt and pea pod is it's so wide, I crawl in there and it rests kind of on me, and then the bottom tends to sag. So as I mentioned before, I got a couple things, little clips called pack attach right here. And all it does is it's got a little piece on the inside and allows the carabiner to slide through. So I can attach a carabiner without making any holes in my quilt. And all I did is got a piece of shot cord, bring it over, put another one on this side. Now when I connect it, sorry, my top quilt's got in the way in my foot box. Now what it does, it pulls everything nice and snug up underneath me, so I don't have to use anything else. And these things, they don't put any holes in anything, and you can, if I slid the carabiner through, then I could move it wherever I wanted. So right now I got it right about where my butt is, and it pulls the whole thing nice and snug. So that should be much warmer tonight, so no air pockets in between. And if I do get really cold, just take this guy, zip it on up. Then I got my own little pea pod. It's about 33 degrees. I did throw in my Marmot Ajax this morning when I was making my breakfast and stuff. Just kept it on. There's a slight wind, but not too bad. But I have to say, if there's anyone that is looking to get a down jacket, wants a nice, light, compressible one, I would recommend one of these. My wife got it for me for Christmas. It doesn't have a hood, which I've never really used a hood because I always have that big fur hat. But man, on the hike in, I had it shoved in this little, not even a compression sack, just a stuff sack, smaller than an Nalgene. And I got it in there fine, didn't have to press very hard. But man, it's got a lot of warmth to it. I'd recommend it. All right, made it back to the truck. Just want to point a couple things out. So all that bushwhacking, running through the trees and stuff, no holes, no tears, even in the mesh pockets and everything. Nothing. You can see those chunks of trees just kind of like hanging out in here. We busted off, but no holes or nothing. Everything stayed together. I got my trash right here. So I think initially I was leery putting my cook set on the side, but man, it totally paid off because I had everything packed except for my stool down here and my cook set. I finished up my breakfast and my coffee sitting on my stool. Everything else packed up. Tucked that in there, threw my stool on the bottom, put my pack on, and headed out. Turn this around right here. One thing I did notice, the way the straps are connected with these, see how there's a lot of play in there? As I was hiking, like when I ducked down or left and right to get through some of the trees, I noticed the bag would kind of wobble. Nothing horrible, but I mean, it's more movement than I noticed on my other one. But it's definitely more comfortable. I'd rather have the wobble than, my back and everything hurting. So overall, did a fantastic job. I left that little arch in there, which you can see now better when it's not on my back. I mean, on a lighter load, I'll maybe arch it a little bit more, but that helped. I mean, even with my down jacket on, I could tell there was wind blowing through there. There's a nice little cool spot right there on my back.